This is another live radio link-up brought to you by the Government Communications, GCIS.
Time's gone 8 minutes after the hour, 6 o'clock. It's a Thursday evening, and today is the 20th August 2015. Let me say it's a very good evening to you, and welcome to our broadcast. And it's brought to you courtesy of Government Communication and Information System, the GCIS, in partnership with the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development and the National Prosecuting Authority, that's the NPA. And as I said, the 7th edition of Let's Talk Justice, Live Your Rights show. That's what we call it. We've been going on strong for like a month and a half now, and loving it. All the information that's coming your way, we're definitely going to enjoy this one as well. Now, quite a good show that we had the last week. Now, hopefully going to be having yet another good show this evening. And I'm not by myself, by the way. I've got a couple of guests coming from the Department of Justice and the Constitutional Development, which I'll introduce to you now shortly. My name is Kikarabalance, Stolo Sabapidil Matebele, Tabelawalo, and I'm doing a logono, Romrel, and I'm Chidi Choro, Carolo Ya, Kashoyari, Ya, Chachina Logono, Mongmel, and Awumle, Lule, Choose, Letulangabaga, Government Communication and Information System, the GCIS, Nomnyango, Justice and Constitutional Development, Ghanaian National Prosecuting Authority. My name is Karabalance, as I said to you earlier on. Let me invite you as a listener to take part in our broadcast by commenting, or you can send us your questions, and we'll be happy to have all of those questions coming through. You can speak in any language of your choice. South Africa is diverse in that way. So this is not a radio program where you should feel left behind because perhaps you don't want to speak Afrikaans or English. No. Just shoot through with any language that you can, any language that you're comfortable with, and we'll help you from our side as well. If you don't understand, well, we might ask you to translate in English. But hey, take the first step and express yourself in the language that you're comfortable with, and I would love to hear from you. 10 after 6 o'clock. Don't want to be wasting too much time this evening with introductions. My tongue is getting tight. It shouldn't be, because summer's just around the corner. In winter we can understand. In summer your tongue shouldn't be twisted in that way. So our guests this evening, coming from the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, are as follows. We have Advocate Praise Kambula, and she's the head at the Promotions of the Rights of Vulnerable Groups Unit at the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. Also, somebody that you are familiar with, and she was here a couple of weeks ago, it's Advocate Joey Mabote. And remember, she's coming from the NPA, heading the unit that deals with the sexual offenses and community affairs. And it's a very good evening to you, ladies. Advocate Joey looks at me like, what is he talking about? I'm correct, am I not? Not.
I'm not heading.
Well, I mean, you're part of it. You're heading it in this show. That's what I mean.
All right.
You're representing everybody there, including the highest of the highs. As long as you're here, you're representing them.
And I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's how we roll.
Agree.
As long as you're in the radio show and you're representing some form of company, you're heading it. Because their voice is you now. So whatever you're going to be saying, you actually speak on their behalf. Okay. We never thought of that, hey? That's all going to change this evening. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming through. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for the invitation.
So there we go. You're probably wondering, what are we talking about this evening? Well, let me just, before even I say the topic for this evening, just give a little bit of a warning to say that this evening's content, it might be sensitive to other sensitive to other listeners. By the way, this is radio. It might be and TV as well. It might be sensitive to other viewers as well. So if you're listening and maybe there's kids around, you might want to reconsider. Maybe we can go and give them a bit of choice, or let them do their homeworks or something like that, because definitely this might just take another way as far as discussions are concerned. So let me not waste time. This evening we are talking about domestic violence. That's the topic for this evening. And let me just urge you that if you're a victim of this, please call in. We do want to help you. We would like to hear your story. You can even remain anonymous. You don't even have to say your name. But don't sit there And I wonder if there is help. There is help. Help is here. Help is going to be here for the next hour. Take advantage of it. 0800 142 446. 0800 142 446. That is our toll-free number. If you're into social media, you can hook us up on Facebook at the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. You can post your Facebook messages there. Otherwise, if you're a Twitter person, you can tweet us, and our hashtag, our hashtag is at DOJCD underscore ZA. DOJCD underscore ZA. And producers have changed this evening, amending our social media this afternoon. Is my man Lawrence is going to be doing quite a fantastic work. So I'm looking forward to receiving some of your emails, some of your tweets, some of your Facebook messages as well. So there we go. Let's jump into it, ladies. And I always say when we start off the show, a lot of people are familiar with some of the terms that we use legally, but we should not take for granted those who don't know. So as we're talking about domestic violence, I believe let's just step back a little bit. Let's start with a basic explanation of what domestic violence is. And Advocate Mabota, would you like to jump into there and you set the tone? Let's go.
Okay. Thank you, Karabo. What domestic violence is in simpler terms, it's any form of abuse or anything that is like done on your person that is against your will. But there are different forms of abuse that could be physical abuse, which would include assault, being throttled, and there's also sexual abuse, which would include having to be subjected to maybe sexual activities against your will, or sometimes you'd find that you are forced to watch a pornographic movie and act whatever that has been depicted on the movie. Or sometimes you'd be like deprived, because it's not only doing, you'd be like deprived of that activity, because remember, when we are married, one of the benefits is that activity itself. And there is also another form of abuse where it's emotional. Emotional would include name callings. You know, when skinny as I am, I'll become called a combination of bones, or somebody that would call you fatty boom boom, or somebody that would call you, say, a woman that cannot, like, reproduce or give birth to a child. You'd be called like a wheel that cannot be. You can pump that wheel that would never get filled up or filled up. There's different forms of abuse. And then some form of abuse could mean economic abuse, where you are deprived financially the benefits as a partner. And sometimes, like the children as well, where the parents are supposed to be financially providing for them. They are not in a position to do that, or they are in a position to do that, but they don't want to do that. And the other one is like damage to property. In some instances, I would give an example to mean that, say for an example, I am in a relationship, and then I find that my partner receives a call from somebody else, and then I suspect that might be an extra marital partner that he has, and then I take that cell phone and then smash it against the wall. Or maybe I find my partner in a car with a female person, and then I become suspicious. Or maybe it's like the other way around, the husband becomes suspicious and then just decide to smash the windscreen and all that. Such an example. And the other part, it's emotional. In fact, it also includes the psychological part,
right,
whereby sometimes you are called names, or you are ridiculed in a way that you end up like living those things that you are labeled. And then sometimes they also like end up affecting you psychologically, in the sense that you end up like, in a mental hospital or something of that sort. And there's also stalking. Stalking would include where you are followed wherever you go. It could be like physically, it could be like, by way of phone. You always like send SMSs, you always like maybe, whenever you'll be driving, then somebody will be saying, "Hi baby, slow down." And little did you know that you are being followed. So it's like you are stalked. And then there is also harassment. Harassment would include being touched against your will. For an example, say somebody maybe like made like nasty comments like, "You just folege bomb," something like that. Which to a certain extent suggests some sexual connotation of some sort. So those are the types of abuse, and any other form of abuse or any other thing that might be done on you as a person against your will.
All right, there you've heard it in a mouthful. 19 after 6, 0800 142 446. Let me open the telephone lines now already that you call in. So far, you might be having questions that you would like to ask as far as this is concerned. You're more than welcome to call in 0800 142 446. 0800 142 446. It's a toll-free number, by the way, if you're going to be calling from a telecom line. Otherwise, if you're using a cell phone, let me ask you to call us first. We'll quickly take your numbers down and give you a call back, and that way saving you costs. Otherwise, hook us up on Twitter at DOJCD_ZA, at DOJCD_ZA. Otherwise, Facebook, the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. If you've just joined us, welcome to it. Joining me in the studio is Advocate Joey Mabote, as well as Advocate Praise Kambula. I wanted these two people to come in because they specialize with these issues. So in that way, whatever question that you might be having, they can handle it. So feel free to do that. You can remain anonymous as well. You don't have to give your name if you don't feel comfortable with that. So looking forward to hearing from you. 0800 142 446. Let's talk about an act, perhaps. Is there one? Is an act, Advocate Kambula, that governs this type of abuse?
Yes, South Africa has got the Domestic Violence Act. It's a Domestic Violence Act of 1998, which started to operate on the 15th of December in 1999. And it so happened to be one of the pieces of legislation that are internationally competitive, in the sense that the provisions that are there are the provisions that you will not find in other countries. I'm talking about the protective measures that are provided by our Domestic Violence Act. But then one is going to be asking then that question as to if it is an internationally competitive piece of legislation, why are we still experiencing domestic violence in our country? You see, there are many reasons that are contributing to that. We have an act which is a paper law, and then there must be actions then of implementing that piece of legislation. But with domestic violence, you are not dealing with a usual victim, in the sense that the person that you are dealing with is a victim who has a domestic relationship with a perpetrator. So there are many issues then that come into play. The issue of loyalty, if it's your husband, issue of loyalty, even if it is your child. You don't want to see your child, getting into jail or experiencing any kind of a legal action, which you have instituted. So these are the kinds of victims that you are dealing with, and it makes them different. Like in a case of, I will make an example. If you have your car stolen by a stranger, you quickly go to police to report that, and you want that person to be arrested. But when you are dealing with a victim of domestic violence, then there are so many issues that come into play. Is a victim who's going to be saying that, is there any other way of dealing with this issue other than taking my son to court? I would rather have a situation where you bring us together, a situation of restorative justice, so that this thing stops. But in addition to that, these are the victims that take too long to report a case because of the cycle of violence that they are in. You see, the cycle of violence, it will have, before the violence starts, a victim does not even know, but then there's a progression in the manner in which the violence will occur. But first, because this is somebody that you know and somebody that you love, and the issue of shame and embarrassment and all that, comes into play. So when your partner, I'm going to bring it into intimate, but it's not only limited to intimate relationships. But then if it is your partner and your partner shows you or probably throws a threat of violence that says that I'm going to kill you, because even to say a threat of violence in terms of domestic violence, that is physical abuse.
Wow.
At first you'll be like, what is this person saying? And it grows into a slap. It grows further into a fist, and probably the use now of a dangerous weapon against you, and all. But when that situation happens, that victim is thinking that there might be a change in what is happening, because he remembers the sweet that you were before, the peaceful that you were before, and is not looking at you as somebody who is violent, is experiencing this for the very first time. Right. And the cycle goes on, into the makeup phase. It is where now the perpetrator will be trying to entice you back and say that, when I say perpetrator, I mean the abuser, will say that, you made me to do it. But it will always be the fault of the victim, even during the makeup phase. Maybe take you out if you are in a dating relationship, or if it is your son, buy you something, if it is your son, or whatever that will be, but to sort of make up. And from the makeup phase, then it moves to honeymoon. And the honeymoon phase, that's where then the victim will think that what I was hoping that will ultimately happen for me, I did not see this person as a violent. I think it was my fault. That's the other thing. It was my fault. Maybe I irritated him by saying this. Maybe it's got a lot of pressure at work. Maybe it's alcohol abuse and all that. So the victims will come up with many excuses that will make them, not to think that they are actually victims. So it is because of that then that there is absolutely no country that is able to bring down the levels of domestic violence. It's an international a dynamic or a situation that every country is looking for a solution to, because of the fact that the victim that we are dealing with is a totally different victim. So you might have a great piece of legislation, but then to address the situation, it takes a lot of effort. And I believe that in the country, that's what we are doing currently.
It's very interesting to hear about all these phases. Something that stood out for me as you were talking now is the issue that we all know that honeymoon doesn't last for a long time.
Yes,
before you know it is going to be back to reality, and in this instance, reality is back to the abuse again. So let's just be careful. Let's just look out for those type of signs when we're in relationships. It might be intimate relationships. It might even be, I believe, work relations. At work, you might experience the same.
The domestic relationship does not include your colleague, unless you share a residence with your colleague.
Right.
You see, you stay in the same. It's basically, relationships that are domestic. Mm-hmm. But I just want to say that when I'm talking about a person that you are sharing a residence with, we have many of these cases that are coming to our court where a person will say that I'm having, remember that Advocate Mabode talked about the economic abuse. I'm having as somebody who is renting in my premises and is occupying probably a structure that is in the backyard. You see, with that person, you don't have a domestic relationship with, because you are not sharing residence. Residence, in terms of this act, it must be a room under one roof. But should I step outside to go to your room, then I'm not sharing residence with you. Then what it means is that that person who's not paying rent, who is depriving you of certain amount of money that is due to you, then you cannot go and apply for a protection order against that person and say that, I'm sharing residence with. This is just one thing that I just wanted to explain.
Having said that, there's an issue that I've heard of in the past. Can somebody apply for a protection order for somebody that they stay with, sharing the same roof with them? I'll give you an example. Can a parent apply for a protection order against their child, maybe who's, let's say, he's on drugs and misbehaving in the house and causing a whole lot of havoc in the house? Can I, as a parent, when I'm staying with that person, apply for protection order?
Exactly. You should.
To take him out of the house?
You should. You can even, when you apply for a protection order, to ask that he be evicted. I'm going to use the word that everybody is familiar with. Be removed from the residence. You can do that because a parent and a child have a domestic relationship. And the same applies to a child. A child can apply for a protection order against the parent, because this law recognizes that parents can sometimes be so abusive. So then a child can apply for a protection order, and to take it further, even the child who is in the care of the complainant, because with domestic violence we have two types of victims. There's a direct victim, the one who is actually experiencing the act of domestic violence. You see, when Advocate Mabote was defining domestic violence, we define those, she said that these are the forms of abuse.
Right.
But in terms of the act, taking them further, they are the acts of domestic violence.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter what, then that victim, a victim who is experiencing an act of domestic violence directly, the one who is probably, as she mentioned, the issue of sexually abused, economically abused, or harassed, and so on. That one is a direct victim. And then you have the indirect victim. Indirect victim now, in this sense, is a child who is in the care of the complainant. When I say complainant, I mean the direct victim. And that child, in terms of our legislation, recognizes the fact that he or she might be abused. I mean, she is abused or he is abused by experiencing the parent or the mother or the complainant going through that kind of situation. And you'll find that it will probably affect her at school, in other areas of her life or his life. So it's considered in terms of the act as an indirect victim, meaning that he or she can actually go and apply for a protection order against the perpetrator, that is against the abuser, and leaving aside the complainant.
Right.
Has nothing to do with the direct victim, but will go to court and say that I am the indirect victim in this situation because daddy is beating mommy every day and this is affecting me. So he can go to court and apply for a protection order.
All right, 28 minutes before 7 o'clock, 0800 142 446, 0800 142 446. How about we take a few callers, ladies, and let's just hear what the callers have got to say. Somebody who shares their name with the king of rock and roll, calling all the way from Cape Town, is Elvis. All right, okay, Elvis is not there. All right, okay, well, we'll see if we can take another caller quickly. All right, it's 28 minutes just before the hour, 7 o'clock. This is our live broadcast coming to you live from our studios here in Pretoria. And we're talking about domestic violence this evening. I'm excited, but don't misunderstand me necessarily. I'm excited because of the help that we're going to give to people especially now with Women's Month. I mean, there's high records of domestic violence that are recorded from ladies, for instance, because they're the most vulnerable, you see. And I'm quite excited that we're doing this program at the appropriate time. So, ladies, if you have any problem, please call us in 0800 142 446. Having said that, this is not a problem that's being experienced by ladies only. We've just mentioned kids now. But let's touch on this one. And when we come to this part of the show, we call it the Mythbusters section. Men also experience this equally, not the same amount of domestic violence, but the same types of domestic violence. Advocate Mabute?
What you should take note of is that domestic violence, it's something that happens across the board. It doesn't matter whether you are a male or a female. The problem that we are encountering is that most of the times men are saying they are tigers, they don't cry, That is why we don't have much information about them. But we know for a fact that men also are victims of domestic violence. But men believe that, they are the captain of the ship. If, they go to court or they go to the police or they go to the relevant forum for assistance, they might be turned into a laughing stock, because people might think that they are not men enough. Why can't they stand for their rights as men, Because we believe, or we are brought up in a system whereby we believe that men are the strongest, So because of that, they don't think that it is right for them to report or to seek for assistance should it happen that they be domestic violence be perpetrated against them. But what I wanted to come into when Advocate Kambula was talking about in terms of responding to your question on the issue of colleagues, the most important part that you were just discussing outside this forum was the domestic relationship, the importance of that.
Yes, yeah.
Victims of domestic violence can as well be within the work environment, in which sense you'd find that the domestic relationship, there is that part that you call it could be either an intimate or a perceived relationship. Perceived in which sense, I work with you and every day you ask me for a lift, or maybe you offer lunch, or take me out for a drink, and in the process you believe that there is some interest of some sort that I might be having towards you, then one time you just see me with my lovely boyfriend or my lovely partner, and then you become jealous, then you start throwing tantrums, Little did I know that you have interest. Little did I know when you offering lunch, that lunch is like saying, Joe, I love you, and then by accepting I'm saying I love you too. You understand what I'm saying? So there is that perceived relationship that could happen most probably between the colleagues.
All right. That would be very, I don't want to say stupid, but I
think you've got hots for me.
I mean, relying on 2 pieces of meat to tell somebody that you love them.
There are people out there who think that by giving you something, then I'm saying that after you. So the perceived relationship, they happen a lot, in workplaces. So, women out there, you need to be very careful, because men will think that by giving him a lift, from home or to where, then you are sending a message and you are just doing something that is like Ubuntu or humanity. But there are men, they would think that you are actually having hearts for him. So the act recognizes that. It recognizes that. And it says that you can actually apply for a protection order against that person. And say that, because you think that you are the one who perceives a relationship. So now you are sending me SMSs and all that kind of thing, or probably nude photographs and all that. So I can have you stopped from doing that and apply for a protection order against you. I don't have a relationship with you. There's no intimate, there's no sexual relationship. There is nothing, but it's just a perceived kind of relationship.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, ladies, let's just do that. You know, there are buses and trains everywhere.
Exactly.
You can take lift, I don't mind. 0800 142 446. Let's go to Motlatupa. Motlatupa, good evening to you. Re thabela gore wena o ile wa nka nako ya gago gore o re leletse mo kgasong ya rena. Dumela.
Dumela ntate ka gape le kae?
Re teng le kae ntate?
Re teng ntate, ntse ke mametse mono ntate. Jwale ha ke go itse taba tsena ha ke ke amanang le nna kaofela ntate.
Yeah.
Jwale ntate potso ya ka ile dina motho o ke dulang le yena ne ke botsa gore na jalo ka ha le nna ke le tlhatsitsa la ditaba tse ha o lo jwa nna ke motho a imelang bo mabojala ke ja bona so sentse ke tseba fela re ha ke gutla mo ke gukang o tla nka tlhapa le ntlo a batlo gore ke goba le yena ka force ke la bona jwale ne ke batla go botsa bomno gore na e be ke jalo ka ke le mofatsi ka ke ba jetsa hona mathatana ka ba ka tla lapeng la ka ba tsofana ka counseling ho yena le yo ke dilang le yena ka bua hape ka tlhatseng le leng ke nahane hore ke ntse ke motloelo wa bona because ke dila ha ka le yena ke re a tsamaye go qoba ntho tsena tse ngata o ha no tsamaya mo nna ke tla tsamaya ke mo siye ke ha hae ene a tsomonyali empa fela ke na le ngwana le o ke ba bona ngwaneng.
Yeah, see, in fact you na putso ne ke batla go botsa yona gore anya le nyalane na ka semolao.
Ha ka nyalana ka semolao. Ba ke na le ngwana I bwane le.
All right, thank you so much.
Hape o fetela le ke bomme mono pele ba tswa mono ha se o fetela ngwana o go botse o go bomme ba ke ba tlhalosa gore na mosadi ya o tlang monna na o ditwa ya le bwanta ke tamamelana le DFM.
Okay, that's going to be an interesting one. Thank you so much Motlatupa with that call. I really appreciate it. Let's go to Elvis calling from Cape Town. Good evening to you, Elvis. Good evening to you, Elvis in Cape Town. Okay, the king of rock and roll is gone. Let's go to Kwena from Mulechi. Kwena, good evening to you. Good evening to you, Kwena. All right, we'll call those callers back. Maybe let's just deal with the question here, Motlatupa, while we're waiting for the other callers to call in. 0800 142 446. On Twitter is at DOJCD_ZA. And on Facebook is at the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. My producers on their toes this evening, and they tell me that Elvis is on the line. All right, they tell me Kwena is on the line. All right, Kwena from Mulechi. Good evening to you, Kwena.
Hello.
Lega Kwena.
Re goda le kae?
Our rona nka bologwele putswa na ring.
Na enne mo lapeng a tla iswa ka thobalano e ka ba ile o ra sanda go tla le ya perpetrator ko maphodiseng ka re perpetrator e le breadwinner.
Okay, I do have an answer for that, but I'm not going to be the one at go fa nyona Kwena. Khopolo o theletse mo moletsi re tla e fa karabo eo.
All right.
0800 142 446. Let's go to Motlatupa. Questions who called earlier on, and he wants to know, in fact he's in this predicament himself, being abused by a partner, and he came out very clean. He says, look, I mean, sometimes I go with the boys and we go do our thing, have a couple of beers and come back home, and maybe I might not be seeing if 9 is a 6 or 6 is a 9, the type of thing. But when I come home, I want to come home to a warm family, but when I get in, I get abused. And he's mentioned that it would even go to an extent where it's sexually as well, where the lady would force him to get into a sexual act with him. He wants to know, what must he do in this type of instance,
Okay, that's very interesting. Eh?
It is very.
It's very interesting. But I have an advice for him.
All right.
If you don't want a quarrel in a relationship, it doesn't matter. It does not have to be an intimate relationship. Communicate. Communication is power. If you're going to be out with the boys and you know the kind of a partner that you have, Why don't you communicate? Because communication can bring like peace, because it's knowledge. It gives the other one knowledge. But if you are depriving your partner of knowledge, then a lot of stuff might get into her head, because you are depriving her communication. But now coming to the issue of him saying that she would force him into a sexual activity, sister, if you are listening, you should not be doing that. I mean, there is a yes and a no in this kind of situation. So if your partner is saying no, no is no. It's not the other way around. Like, when you turn it around, it becomes on. It's not on. It's no. So even from a man, when a man says no to a woman, it's a no. No one should be forced. And now, for the ladies out there, I would like them to know that we have a legislation for sexual offenses. I'm not going to go into the citation of the legislation because it's quite huge. Is to say that in terms of that legislation, men and boys can be sexually abused, can be raped. So that man has got a right to go first to apply for a protection order on the ground of sexual abuse, and or simultaneously so go to police and lay a charge of rape against the female partner. So it's doable.
All right, Mhla Trooper, there you have it. And he wants to know, as he was going out, what do we call a lady that abuses what do we call a lady that hits a man? Or
what do we call that woman? That woman is an abuser. But I just want to correct one thing. When I said rape, I should have said that sexual offense. You see, because it will depend on the circumstances of the case. But let me just club it and say it's sexual offense. So you can go and lay a charge of sexual offense. Then it will depend on the circumstances on what type of the sexual offense that is going to be. But now, I mean, women, sometimes it can be bushes. They can beat men.
We don't encourage that though, but
they can. So, but then, I mean, that's an abuser, isn't it, Joey?
That's correct.
That's an abuser
of a different kind, or of the same.
The same.
Okay.
Because the act is gender neutral, as Advocate Mabode said.
Okay.
Men must go to court and apply for protection order, because we know that they get abused.
And it's a fact.
Yeah, and it's a fact, especially with the emotional, verbal, and psychological abuse that they experience. Sometimes, women are like talking on and on, very abusive with their words and saying that you are nothing, you are less of a man, and I regret for having, had this relationship with you. I mean, that's so bad. So men should rise up and go and apply for a protection order.
All right, let's go to Lens. It's a very good evening to you. Anonymous calling all the way from Lenasia.
Hello.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you doing?
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. What is your question or comment?
I want to find out, please. Myself and my husband, we've been together for about 30 years, right? But during those 30 years, he has left the home plus minus over 6 or 10 times, right? However, he is left now, it's 1.5 years that he's left the house. But during this 1.5 years, he's not maintaining, he doesn't give any money. Well, all my kids are married, they're married. He doesn't give any money or anything towards anything at the house, right? But like if I try to go out and make ends meet, like maybe if I need to get somewhere, I get a lift with somebody or pay transport and things, he puts up a scene, he interferes, or he comes drunk, he swears, he uses all kind of languages. This has been for all the years. And the thing is this, we're not divorced, we are legally married.
You're still married, yeah.
I don't know what steps to take in a situation like this, because for all the years he's been so abusive and things like that. But I have had him charged. He's got 10 years suspended sentence for holding a gun at my head. And now the thing is this, I have spoken to a lawyer for a divorce, but they say if we divorce, then we must sell everything and split it. So I want to find out, where does this leave me?
Okay, now hang on. But okay, you mentioned that you're not divorced, but then you're saying the lawyers are saying you're divorced.
No, they say if I apply for a divorce.
Must
Okay.
apply.
All right,
yes.
they say you must apply. I beg your pardon for that.
Yes.
Okay, there's something called spousal maintenance. We'll touch on it shortly. Just listen on the radio. I'm going to ask my guest. They're smiling. Gee, I'm informed, Pela. Yeah, there's something called spousal maintenance which we're going to touch on. That might help you. But thank you so much for listening through to Lens FM. Enjoy the rest of your evening, ma'am.
Okay, so should I just put down and listen on the radio?
Yes, please do
Okay.
that. Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you
so much
so
for that.
much.
All right.
Bye.
Artleng Gaye, mo Pretoria. Let's chat to Anonymous. You're in Pretoria. Good evening to you, Anonymous. Anonymous in Pretoria. Anonymous in Pretoria. Okay, good evening to you,
Hello?
Anonymous. Yes, good evening.
Hello?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, we're listening. What is your question or comment, ma'am?
Yeah, ke ne ke nyaka go tseba gore na. Hello?
Yeah, re go theeleditše.
Okay. Ne ke nyaka go tseba gore na abuse, like emotional abuse ya motswadi a fa ke bana le yona e allowed gore ka bolela ka yona na.
Yes, we definitely can touch on that, yes.
Okay. I'm the mother of 4, and then bana ba golo ba 3 ba godile ba tsetse dikolo ba bereka, and then this one ke wa tileng morago ba different gap, age different ke 20 years. So this third one o bana le tendency ya go abuse the small one, then ka be ke mo direla protection order, because it went on and on. We tried to really family sort it out, but high refeta he continued to an extent. Ya gore ngwana monyane o enda pile a ile a tshaba a yo robala strating a tshaba the brother, then ka dira protection order, then ba mo ntsha ko mo high. Then before that, ha na le this other brother and sister, then over like the way gore mama o nthoile, mama o dira eng, mama o dira eng, and then ba enda baba mo tshepa. I understand. I'm a born again Christian, they are not born again, and then they don't answer their phone, their calls, they don't come to me, they don't do emotionally. I'm emotionally really, I don't know how to put it.
Yeah.
And then end up they don't allow me to go to their houses. But end up Christianity, hey, Christianity was almost everything that they can.
All right. You know, one of our guests will be like communication, which I think will be the basis of most of the things. But like I said, I'm not the expert on it. I'm going to leave it to them to answer that. But I'm picking up key issue of emotional abuse, which is being built on false information to the other kids. Am I right?
Yeah, and ke ba itse dikolong ka ofela mo ke chartered accountant o mo ke editor ya ditšhola o bile o rana business gona banong, but you know what, I'm just like nothing to them, and I'm a single parent. I understand.
Okay.
We tried to resolve family, the uncles, the auntie, we tried to solve, but it didn't work several times.
All right, we're going to try everything in our power to help you. We're going to definitely try to help you, Mene. Which radio station are you listening from? Impact 103. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much to the guys
that's
about Impact.
That's my radio station.
There we go. Thank you so much. And Focus on the
Thank
Family
you.
should be helping you on matters like that. Keep on listening to it as well. 9 minutes before 7 o'clock. Any more callers? No. All right. Let's go to the questions quickly. Anonymous says, yeah, the guy comes in and out, and then he does what he pleases. I mean, many days, and then it's a problem. You know, he starts mentioning words that are not nice to the lady as well. But the main thing here, it's issue of he does not even contribute to the well-being of the household. And this is when I spoke about spousal maintenance. Advocate Mabuto man. Jump into this one. Let's talk about spousal maintenance. I suspect, and I'm speaking under correction from you, could this help this lady?
To a certain extent, yes. It could help. Sorry. The challenge that I think maybe she's faced with is that she's not brave enough to call it quits, in the sense that she's scared to lose the items that she have or the property that she has, because if I understand well, she spoke about when she went to the attorney, they told her about 50-50 division.
Yeah,
of
apparently they are
the joint
married in community
of
property.
property. But like we said the other time, it is always it doesn't necessarily mean that because the legislation provides for 50-50 division, it means that it ends there. There is also that part that talks about forfeiture, whereby she just have to like give reasons or advance reasons why she's asking for forfeiture, and then at the same time she can also like apply for maintenance on her behalf as a spouse, and contribution as well, because some of the things that some of the provisions that are provided for by the protection order, the Domestic Violence Act, is that the court can also make an order whereby he could be forced to contribute within the well-being of the family, financially and otherwise. So it's not like it's all lost, and she still has the remedy. In terms of the Domestic Violence Act, even when she wants to go for the divorce, she can ask for forfeiture. She can apply for spousal maintenance as well.
Yeah, it's economic abuse. It's what she was talking about is a pure economic abuse. And as Advocate Mabode is saying that she can go and apply for a protection order, and when she applies for that protection order, to ask the court to give and to impose an additional order that's going to force the husband to contribute towards the I think it was the bond. Did she talk about the bond or whatever?
If they have the
yes,
bond
the property, things that relate to the property.
Right.
You can actually do that. And it doesn't. What I just want to say is that if you have, if your spouse has left you, your spouse has left you, or maybe your partner has left you and is living elsewhere because it sounds nicer in another environment, you have a right to go to court and have him ordered to pay for the rent or for the bond while he's still living elsewhere. He's got the responsibility here and he has to pay. Otherwise, if he's not doing that, I mean, this is what we're talking about the economic abuse. It's a pure economic abuse situation.
So he or she?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, gender neutral. Yes.
But now we're talking about, you just mentioned now forfeiture. What we heard from her now, obviously you're not judges, I'm not expecting you to just but does she have a case at least when it comes to should she apply for forfeiture?
She said he left the house.
He keeps on leaving.
Yeah.
He keeps on leaving.
Plus 10
and
times.
coming back.
Yeah, and coming back.
And now he's no longer there for more than a year.
Yeah, now he's out for a year.
Yeah. But then when he sees her trying to make ends meet, he has a problem. She can advance those reasons to say, I mean, most of the contribution is from her side, not from him. And by absenting himself from the common house, it speaks volumes.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Telephone lines 0800 142 446. Mickey from Letlabile. Mickey, Bualena. Hi, Mickey.
Hello, guys.
Retenle ga mme. Okay.
Yeah, so ke advocate a bolela ka gore if o na le ngwana ka mo ntlong and then a go abuse, then you can apply for an eviction court order.
Yeah. Okay.
So ke na le situation e bjalo ne, ke na le my auntie ona Tembisa.
All right.
And then only bana ba ba godile, she's a widow, monna ha so la tlhokofala ka 2004.
So this other girl, 1968, onna ka mo lapeng wa bereka, but constantly ulwantsha money ulwa le yena kore she will insult her amotsa the way I know gore a se ka teng a khono sala lintlu, and she's fighting everyone o tsena ka montlung ka fale kore o batla re enne yena fela the owner of the house. And sometimes o tokra kore go ntse then o tla phone ya la mama nna re mo le tlhabile.
Okay.
And she will call my mom, and then after phonela mama guys, after that mama le over stress ka situation ya kwale because she's far away, she can't even go and assist. And then re advise it hore ayo mo tshwarisa, then maphodisa they're doing nothing about that. So ne ke batla itse hore go na le another line or maybe the office aka yang go yona directly hore ba khone hore ba mo ditse that order, and then they should come and evict her if ena apallwa ko hore aka montsha since a create that order, then a khone sala ale one because she's working and she's not contributing anything in the house, but she's fighting everyone within Kamonku.
Must go away, that one.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Go away.
All right, Nikki, thank you so much for your call. Let's go to the next. My producer's giving it a thumbs up as well. Okay. Let's go to the next callers. We'll definitely answer that. I see we're running out of time. Let's try to move very fast. TK, you're calling all the way from Durbs.
Yes.
Yes, sir. What is your question or comment?
Yes, hello.
Babu TK, ngicela uyivale lo msakazo wakho. That's the reason why you're not hearing me properly. Otherwise ukufaka ebondini.
Yebo, ayisekuvalile.
Okay.
Angazi noma khuluma in Zulu noma kuphoqeleka ngikhuluma in English, but ngiseMaryland Durban, eh?
Ngizojabula mina mangakhulumisa iZulu ngoba azange ngikhulumisa iZulu namhla.
Ndoda ngilalele lento le ngiyaqala nxa ukuthi ngikhulume nje nabantu, yabo.
Okay.
And ngibamba isibindi nje vela vale emotini ngathi ngibamba isibindi. Mina ngihlukunyezwe kakhulu, phathwa ngezandla ngishawa, kungena namaphoyisa endawo angibophe phambi kweingane zami, uthatha imoto zabantu ngiyakhanda zidayiswe. Ngireporte emaphoyiseni athi une right unkosikazi ngoba sishadile naye imoto zakhe ngeke ambophe. Sike kuzingeni lokuthi ke ngize ngilandele ngeinkabe ngathatha abameli ngathatha i-protection order. Ngaphuma endlini esengijahe nabantu ngabuya sethuthe neingane walahla ubaba wami obunda 89 emgwaqweni wacoshwa ilamandiya omakhelwane bathatha yonke ifurniture. Emva konyaka ingane ngayithola nge-family advocate eWestville seyifakwe kuma-Westville school. But the long and short ke mase divorcewa wahamba nayo yonke into yomuzi, lo muntu beena 27,000 a month, ingangingawazi ngihleli naye ngimphilisa ngale mali bengiyisebenza egcekeni ngokhanda imoto. Emva kwalokho ke ingane zadecide ukuthi no zakhala kuma-family advocate ifuna ukubuyela ekhaya, zagcina ibuyele ngakumina.
Yeah.
Hayi inkantolo ke okubuhlungu ngithi ngifuna ukulekelelwa nange-maintenance. Inkantolo engikuyona eVerulam ibisingazi ngayo zonke izinto ngena ngiphuma kuzona. Ngayitshelwa kwathi i-maintenance iyadonsa nje 2 years. Ngitshelwa kuthiwa itshela le ingane iphume endlini ngoba ngale kwalokho izosala zingena senti. Ngempela ke zaluza ukufunda ema-Westville schools engangikusebenzele mina, ngikhuliswa abelungu mina, investment yami nanokuthi unkosikazi afunde. Zakuluza lokho zabuya zazofunda ema-local school, zangondliwa. Ngikhuluma manje nje siphila ngegrant.
Yena uhleli lapha khona.
Hamba nga-new cars every time. Khuluma ngomuntu ofika at the gate nezinyanga akhe inhlabathi ayifake athi ngoke ngikubona ukuthi uzophelela asho ebusweni enganeni ukuthi ngiyonixosha emgwaqweni nidla amakhasi kabanana masengicedile ngoyihlo.
Bob TK, let's do this. Ne? I'm going to take your number down yours, it's got many elements. It's got economic abuse. It's got
Yes.
verbal abuse. It even was physical at some stage.
Yeah.
Now there's intimidation to it, and then there's kids. So this one has got many elements. May I suggest that we take your number down, and then we're going to engage you properly. It's not one that I even want us to discuss on the radio. That's how hectic it is. Can I do that, Bab TK?
Yeah.
Okay, ngiyabonga baba. Okay, our producers will take your numbers down. Bazothatha amanamba wakho, and then we'll sizokufonela. Don't worry about it. Sizokufonela.
Okay.
All right, 2 minutes after 7 o'clock. Yeah, no, that was a shocker. No? Yeah, 2 after 7. Let's go to this one. Yeah, Miki, the whole abuse by the daughter. Living with the aunt, telling the aunt that I can't wait to see you dead because I want to take over the stuff in the house. What can she do? Because she says she's been going directly to the police to get an eviction order or protection order, maybe, but she's not getting any help. How can she elevate this matter?
You see, Omiki, we are having a lot of those situations now. Children getting violent against the parents. And in this case, I think it's the aunt.
Yeah.
It's the aunt.
It's the aunt, yeah.
So what I would suggest to her is that she can actually, because the act allows her, not the aunt. If the aunt is probably unable to go to court for many reasons, it could be the emotional challenges or fear of the unknown, she can go to court and apply for a protection order on behalf of the aunt that will take the sister out. Meaning that, is it the sister or a daughter?
Yeah, it's a sister,
the
yeah.
daughter out of the house. People need to know that if you have a problematic child, you can take that child out until, because you can go later on, because it's your child, if he has probably recovered from whatever that she had, and have that protection order cancelled. But right now, they need protection. She can be taken out. So she's one of the people that I would suggest that we take down her number so that my office assists her in this situation.
Let's see if I've learned. I have. But let's see if I can grasp this concept.
Yeah.
Umiki, is she an indirect victim?
Okay. It's
Not
not
because
an
I got
indirect. No, it's not. But then she has the material interest in the well-being of her auntie.
No, my advocate, why does it sound like she's an indirect victim to me? Because she's suffering now emotionally.
Okay. But then it must be an indirect for her to be called the complainant, must be the child in the care of auntie. But now Miki is no longer a child. I think so. I think that, but unless Miki is below the age of 18, then it's something else. But she must be in the care of auntie for her to be to say that I'm a victim. But if she's above the age, or she's 18 or above, she can go and apply for a protection order on behalf of auntie and do the third party application, because she's got a material interest in the well-being of auntie.
All right. 5 minutes after 7 o'clock, almost time for us to say goodbye. Let me ask for 3 more minutes. I'll tell you why I want to do that is because here's a thing called a protection order. I want it to be explained properly in terms of how it works. Finding a neighbor, protection order, those type of myths. So a protection order, what is it? How does it work?
Okay. Am I taking this one? Okay.
I don't know, Are you comfortable? Can she take this one? All right.
A protection order, as we say, that is an order. It's an order that's got a number of terms. All right. And it is meant to protect the victim against further abuse. It is an order that restricts the perpetrator from abusing you further. So it's got a number of terms. So number one, I can have a person prohibited from entering my shared residence, like the case of Miki. Miki can have the daughter prohibited from entering the shared residence that she has with the aunt.
Yeah.
So it's like in other terms we can call it eviction. You can
Right.
do that. Let's say your partner is sexually abusing you, or you are a daughter who is sexually abused by the father. In terms of the protection order, you can also have your father prohibited from entering your bedroom. Your father can enter any area but your bedroom so as to protect you if that usually happens there. So a person can be prohibited from entering a specified area in the house. You can have that done. I can have you prohibited from coming to my workplace. I can have you prohibited from contacting my children because you are abusing my children. So I can also have you prohibited from committing any act of domestic violence that Advocate Mabot mentioned at the beginning, like physical abuse, sexual abuse, economic abuse, harassment, stalking, and all of that. I can have you prohibited from doing that. I can also have you prohibited from getting people, to come and sexually abuse me. It's happening a lot right now. You see, if a young girl, or maybe let me not put an age in this. If you have decided to part ways with your boyfriend, and your boyfriend is irritated by that, or it becomes very, very vindictive against you, and organize other people, other friends, to sort of to sexually abuse you, or to rape you. That can also be prohibited in terms of the protection order, from enlisting help from other people to cause the same thing to you. And there's one thing that I also want to say, that if the act of domestic violence constitutes a crime, then you can apply one for the protection order, which is a civil action. You can also apply you can go to police station to lay a criminal charge against that person. So let's say it's sexual abuse, I can have a protection order granted in my favor against you by court, and then I can also go to police station and institute a criminal charge, a criminal action against you, and they can both happen simultaneously, or I can do one at a time. It will depend on you. And what people need to know is that when it comes to criminal charges, there is no prescription. If that person raped you in 2000, you can still, if there's enough evidence to do that, you can actually go to police and lay that charge. So there's no prescription. Prescription means that there's no time limit.
Okay. In conclusion, talking about time limit, does it expire, the protection order?
It doesn't. It's for a life. It's for a life. And I would like to say to victims there who've got the protection order, that if your partner says to you, go and cancel the protection order because you have reconciled, you might be in the honeymoon phase, and the honeymoon phase will go back to because it's a cycle. It goes around. So I would suggest to you, don't do that. If he says to you, go and cancel it. Why? Because now you are saying that you will never abuse me again. So if you'll never abuse me again, then the protection order should not be a threat to you. So why are you forcing your partner or whoever to go and cancel a protection order?
All right. Then,
just in addition to what Advocate Kambula said, one of the most important protective measure of a protection order is that a victim who goes to court and apply for a protection order has got that guarantee of immediate protection.
Yes,
in the sense that you will be given an interim protection order
on the
immediately on the same day of the application. Ne?
Okay.
Yes.
And it's free, It's free. You don't pay.
Immediately on that same day.
Okay. Say somebody why violate. Okay. When you go to the police, you say the person has violated the order. Do you have to produce it in paper?
When a protection order is granted, they give you a warrant of arrest. They would give you a copy and then a warrant of arrest. The
Suspended warrant of arrest,
The
yeah.
minute the perpetrator violates, and remember, sorry, maybe to clear that, when an interim protection order is like granted, it can only be effective once the respondent is aware of it, once it is served
Upon him, yeah.
upon him, ne? That is when it is effective. And then if he violates it, then you go to the nearest police station with a copy of that the protection order and the warrant of arrest, and then they will immediately go look for him and then make sure that
And
he's
it's enforceable
taken into
everywhere in South Africa.
Yes.
But
If I obtain the protection order in KZN and then we meet somewhere in Cape Town and then he violates the protection order, the Act says that I can go to the nearest police station. So it's enforceable everywhere. It's valid for life. It's enforceable everywhere.
And then if you've lost the actual documentation,
You can go to the clerk of the court to have another one issued.
okay.
And once the warrant of arrest has been executed, because it doesn't mean that is the end of the order, you still have to go back to the magistrate court to ask for or to apply for, in fact, to be issued with another
Yes,
warrant of
yeah.
arrest.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Because the one that you have, once it is executed, it means it's done with it.
Yeah.
So you have to get a new one.
Exactly.
All right.
So they must not stay without a suspended warrant of arrest. The protection order must be accompanied by a suspended warrant of arrest all the time. They must keep that in their person everywhere that they go.
You got served. That's the words you're going to hear. All right, 13 after 7 o'clock, ladies. Thank you so much for having taken time to come and educate us this evening. I'm sure with all the ladies and the gents out there and the children out there who are suffering some form of abuse have learned something. But before we say goodbye, the telephone numbers in which we can reach you following this. And by the way, this conversation continues on Twitter and Facebook as well. On Facebook is at the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. Otherwise, on Twitter is at DOJCD_ZA, at DOJCD_ZA. But otherwise, telephone numbers if you want to reach you.
Okay, for Department of Justice, I just want people to know that if you're not getting any joy in any of our courts, please do call this number. It's 012-315 1111.
315-1111. All right.
Or you can call 012-315-1458. We will be able to help you.
All right, there we go. Those are our two guests this evening. Advocate Praise Kambula, coming from Promotion of the Rights of Vulnerable Groups Unit from the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, as well as Advocate Joey Mabote from the MPA Sexual Offences and Community Affairs. Ladies, thank you so much for your time and for coming through. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for the invite.
All right, from myself, Karabalance, that's how we wrap it up for this evening. I hope you've learned. I've learned quite a lot as well. If you don't behave, yes, that's how we roll. You know, justice comes at a time where you least expect it if you're not adhering to some of the rules that have been set for people to live with each other in harmony. So, 15 after 7, thank you to all the radio stations who've partnered with us, everybody who's called in. We really, really appreciate it. From myself, Karabalance, until we meet again next time, Thursday, enjoy the rest of your evening.